Hello there, Saber fans. Shamim here with a new custom Saber install to show off to you guys. This is Rahm Kota Lightsaber design from Star Wars Force Unleashed. And the maker of this hilt is R.O. Sabers, Rose Sabers, who is one of the greatest saber artisans within our community. He does top-notch, excellent work. The hilt itself is an RO Saber, and then the customer had purchased it used from another customer who had attempted to do his own electronic install, and when I received it from the customer, nothing was working. So I opened it up, and there was craft foam, there was cotton balls, the internals were a mess, there was very little heat shrink. Anyway, so the internals were a mess, and it was a stunt setup. There was no sound. So the customer had asked me to vent the pommel for sound, do an Nano Biscotti V3 install. He wanted a Luxeon Tri-Rebel lime, and then white for, lime main blade and white flash on clash. This button up here was originally just a latching switch, but he wanted an illuminated red ring switch, which you see here. And then this gash here, there wasn't really anything behind it in the original install, so the customer and I talked, and we ended up installing little tiny exposed crystal chamber where the crack is in the hilt. You can see the gold rod, and then again another gold rod, and then the crystal right there in the middle. So that's cool. Pommel has been vented for sound. Nothing special. Internally, it's a 18650 lithium-ion battery with internal recharge port, so there's a full chassis inside, 3D printed, and the recharge port is in there. I've already pulled the kill key, which is why the red ring is illuminated, because it's a wee bit of a process to... All of these sections are bolted together with screws, so you gotta unscrew everything to take it out and get to the chassis, so that's why I pulled the kill key before the video started. There is an exquisite blade plug. I don't know if this is from RO Sabers or if it was from somewhere else, but wherever the blade plug came from, it's a really lovely design. The leather wrap going along the grip has been exquisitely weathered. Everything about this saber says battle damaged, war-hardened Jedi general who has been on the run, doesn't have a lot of time to keep his lightsaber pristine. That's not one of his priorities. His priorities is staying alive and striking back at the Empire. So, customer requested 2 sound fonts of mine. He requested Sacrifice and Kylo TFU HD. And then he had a request for special boot sounds for each one of those. So let's get her fired up.
Don't give in to hate. That leads to the dark side.
I believe this is Sacrifice. There's your illuminated crystal chamber in there. Got a beautiful lime green LED, very unstable per the customer's request. There's your white flash on clash. So let me talk a little bit. You may have noticed that the crystal chamber is a very solid green, or a very standard color green, while the LED for the main blade is more of a lime color. I wasn't able to find any lime-colored accent LEDs, so it's just a regular green. But I figured that because of all the damage and whatnot, story-wise, you could argue that the crystal itself originally was green, and that's why the crystal remains green. But because of all the battle damage and whatnot, some of the components inside, some of the focusing crystals, the focusing lenses have been knocked awry, and that's why the main blade is flickering a lot, and that's why it's also a slightly different color, to indicate, again, that the crystal itself may be fine, but some of the other internal components may have suffered damage, and that's why the coloring is a little different. The crystal follows the same pattern as the LED. So the LED is flickering intensely. The crystal also flickers intensely. You can see that right there. All right, now let's switch to the Kylo Ren font.
For my ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is.
Rahm Kota keeping the wisdom of his old master Yoda close to his heart. So the Nanoscotty has support for 8 swings and 8 clashes. Both of these sound fonts have multiple, or much more than just 8. The Sacrifice has 16, and then the Kylo Ren has something like 20-some. So what's cool about this is on the Nanoscotty, since it only supports 8, you can go through on the SD card, plug it into your computer, and pick out the specific 8 swings and 8 clashes that you personally like the best. So if there's ones that are the default 1 through 8 that you don't necessarily like, you can get rid of those and then rename, 9 through 16 or 9 through 20, whatever, as your new 1 through 8, and have a perfectly customized lightsaber with the exact sounds that you like. Let's get a blade installed and see this lime color a bit better. So there's your blade retention screw right up there. Give that a little loosen. Out slides a gorgeous blade plug. And we'll throw the blade in there. Give it a tighten. Very nice red lit AV switch to simulate the red button that Kota usually has on his lightsaber. Very bright. Let's move this wrap out of the way a little bit. You can see the white flash on Clash. Lime, Rebel Lime is one of the brightest colors I have ever seen. It's crazy. Like, the window is open, and still here it's an insanely bright color. Illuminated all the way up to the tip. And it flickers out. Same with the crystal. Show Sacrifice.
Don't give in to hate. That leads to the dark side.
But the dark side has cookies. Both of these fonts, I think, were selected because the saber itself is very battle damaged, and both of these fonts have a very unstable battle damage sound to them. So what's cool about these, the wrap, is that while you're swinging it around, they flicker, they flutter around. So that's pretty cool. It gives it a nice effect. Dude, I just noticed this. If you put your hand over the crystal chamber, you can feel a lot of the vibration from the 2-watt bass speaker coming out of here, because the resonance chamber, all in here, it's all solid. So it feels like there's power emanating. That's so cool! I'm just now realizing this on camera here. That is so cool. So it's almost as if the power from the crystal is going to escape and shoot out of the crack here, which is a really cool effect. So that was a neat little discovery. I just realized on camera for the first time. So there you have it, guys. It's an RO Saber Rahm Kota from The Force Unleashed. I may have said The Force Awakens at the beginning. If I did, I apologize. But this is, of course, from The Force Unleashed, the video game. So, yeah. There's two different ways that you can access. Let's just go ahead and access the chassis right now. So there's two different ways you can do it. You can, this one here unscrews the, it releases the pommel itself. This little bitty cap. And then you can sort of pop it out that way. That's probably the easiest way to do it. So let's do that. Give it a little unscrew. Out slides your pommel. And there's your speaker. Give it a little bit of a tap. And here it starts coming out. There you've got your battery. You've got your soundboard, SD card. And then right here is your recharge port. So when you're all done, you want to put it back on your shelf. Put the kill key in there. It's a lot of give with the wires. And then there's also a plastic tubing for electronic shield. So when you're all ready to put it back, I like to bring the tube up around the chassis and then push the wires in. Make sure the plastic lip is not getting caught on the edge, because then it won't go in. And then boom. So you put it in a little bit, and then you can use the pommel to push it in all the way. Tighten. Nothing's rattling. You're all set to go. So there you have it. Thank you all so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.